Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another hat show. Obviously, it's been a very long while. It feels weird, not doing a hat show for so long. Obviously, it's been 4 weeks, so a month, which has been pretty crazy. But obviously, we'll be back regularly now, especially that the championship's back and running. Obviously, it's relentless. There's games upon games, even obviously the cups as well. So yeah, big up to everyone that is inside. Big up to everyone that's liked and all of that. And yeah, I've got a very special guest, obviously on today. My dad isn't quite on. He's actually feeling quite ill, which ain't great. But he's all good. He's all good. He's just recovering a little bit, as you do. So yeah, he's all good there. It's nothing too major, so don't worry about that. But yeah, like I say, special guest today, a person that will be on the channel a lot more. Obviously, was on the channel for the Celtic Vigo fan cams as well. Hopefully, the guys who did watch them enjoyed, and a lot of people did on every socials that I put them out on. So big up to yourselves for that. But yeah, let's bring him in. We've got David. How are you, mate?
I'm good, are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Looking forward to the championship now. It's up and running.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so it's going to be good, man, to get into it. But obviously, in this one, we will discuss, obviously, the Burnley game, but we're going to discuss a bit of news that's come out today regarding Woodrow this morning. So Derby County are keen on Woodrow, apparently. According to Football League World, Alan Nixon has said this. So he said Derby County have sparked an interest in Luton Town striker Cooley Woodrow, with Paul Warne bidding to add to his attacking options in the final few weeks of the summer transfer window. It was claimed that Woodrow is the target for the Rams, but Luton will need to find a replacement before any deal can be made between the two championship clubs. Derby are looking for a new forward after their 4-2 opening day loss to Blackburn on Friday, with manager Paul Warne calling for another number 9 a couple of weeks ago, following a defeat to Barnsley in pre-season. Woodrow scored just once in the Premier League in 2023-24, but his experience in the second tier, having found the back of the net 46 times in 213 games in his career. Despite signing Yates and Caden Jackson already this summer, the Rams are still lacking firepower up top, with their current collection of strikers scoring just 34 goals between them in the 2023-4 season. James Collins led the line for Derby in the previous campaign and fired in 14 League One goals. However, this championship record is less than inspiring, and he may struggle to be the same competitive force as he once was, prompting Warne to look elsewhere. Young striker Brown is in need of a loan club in either League One or League Two for them after impressing at Gateshead in the National League at the latter end of last season, while Connor Washington has been an outcast in pre-season. Yates is suspended, so he won't be back till they play them idiots down the road. So yeah, that's that really. I mean, it's an interesting one for me because, like it says, we'll have to get a replacement in place because the way I look at it for me is you've got obviously, it looks like Taylor might be staying, which is obviously good. We feel he deserves his chance. A lot of us are the same wavelength on that. However, I feel, you've seen it in pre-season. He's played Nelson a little bit deeper, hasn't he? As like a cam. So I don't know. What's that? Sorry.
So we saw it in the Celtic Vigo game.
Yeah, exactly. We saw it in the Celtic Vigo game. We saw it in the game in Slovenia as well, or both games, shall I say. So for me, you need to get someone else. Obviously, McAtee's gone. Obviously you have got the main starters, but I just feel you'll need another one. I feel it's good to have at least 3 other attacking options, bar the main 2, obviously, because obviously that'll be Brown and Taylor, if that is the case. But I mean, what do you make of it?
With the news on Taylor definitely might be leaving, I think we definitely need to bring someone in. I mean, Woodrow's saved us a lot, but I mean, he has some games where he starts and he can be not as good, but then he has saved us in certain moments. But I think if Taylor definitely goes, we need to bring someone in quite quickly.
Yeah, and at the same time, this is another thing I look at, right? It's not. It will be if someone goes, but it's a priority that we shouldn't really be looking at for me because when I look at it, attacking wise, we are stacked. We are absolutely stacked. Compared to everywhere else, you look at it and we're like, right, we need someone here, except goalkeeper. Right, obviously. But defenders, obviously, we have a lot of defenders, but the problem is a lot of them are injured. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are saying about centre back. Midfield for me is the main place, and I know a lot of people have been the same on that. And the reason I say that is because, obviously right now we've got three that are definitely fit, that you count. Obviously Clark, Ruddock and Baptiste. Nakamba's obviously getting closer, but it's one where you look at it and you feel, well, if one or two of them get injured, it's not looking great, is it really? When it comes to that sort of thing, and we always knew the midfield was going to, be a change anyway. Barkley and Lokonga, that was inevitable. That was always going to happen. That they were definitely going to go. So it's an interesting one, man. I mean, for me, like I say, I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind him leaving. If I'm going to be totally honest, I just feel like you said as well, David. The games he has started, he hasn't stepped up, tried to especially in that Man United game. You remember that game, the Man United game when Elijah got injured in the warm up. Good opportunity for him to step up, and he didn't. Yes, he gets the late goals, but again, I look at other things as well. They say he's the best finisher at the club. I think Jordan Clark's better at finishing than him. Look at Jordan Clark's 2 goals against Man City in the FA Cup. Back to back. Pre-season games, he's missed penalties. Do you know what I mean? Considering you're meant to be the best finisher at the club, it's not convincing for me. When you're doing stuff like that personally. So I wouldn't mind it. But again, I also look at it. I don't really want to have to sell a striker or an attacker because that's not the priority for me. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got so many, but then we'll feel like we'll have to, which totally makes sense because you don't know when Brown's going to be back. You still don't know what's happening with Taylor. So yeah, it's a problem we don't really want for me. I think we'll keep hold of him personally for at least another season until his contract runs out, and then we'll go from there. Really, that's what I think on it. But anything else you'd like to add on that, David?
No, I disagree with you. Like when he's had the chance to step up, like you were saying, he hasn't done it. He's had the opportunities, but he just hasn't took his chances.
And I'll be so honest, a lot of you guys will know this anyway, but when we signed him, re-signed him, because obviously we had him when he, is a bit younger and that, me and my dad were like more gassed than him with, compared to Morris. And part of that is because I haven't really seen Morris before that, I'll be honest. And then I just thought, you sign in a player you've had, he's local, he's got that determination, but he just hasn't, if we're being totally honest, he just hasn't really lived up to it. If we're going to be honest, like the late goals have been great, but again, it's not enough. The main thing that annoys me is the saying of the best finisher at the club. Rob Edwards openly said that, Lockyer, and he just hasn't really proved it. Do you know what I mean? For me, like you look at, like I say, Jordan Clark's 2 goals against Man City in the FA Cup. I think he's the best finisher at the club. Even the goal at Wembley. Do you know what I mean? To put that in the roof of the net the way he did, I just think it's disappointing, really. And then on top of that, I look at the pre-season stuff where he's missing penalties. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're the best finisher, you should be burying them, really. Let's be honest. I mean, it's not like we're playing, no disrespect to the teams. It was Hitchin last season and some Ukrainian team I never heard of. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to be honest. So it's disappointing, really. But I think we will keep him because, like I say, I think we'll look at it. It's not a priority that we need to sell a striker. We'll need to sell anyone, but a striker, especially, with how much depth we do have there. So, yeah, that's what I think on it, really, when it comes to that. Let's go through some comments. Shout out to Hannah in the chat. He says, yes, guys, big up to yourself, mate. Jackie is not a big fan of Woodrow. Said, you should have seen my smile when I read Derby was after Woodrow. I can imagine you are absolutely buzzing. Good evening, Tyler. Big up to yourself, Paul. Hope you're well, mate. Big up to Harry in the chat as well. Big up to Chris. Yeah, I watched that. Bro. Do you know what I said for that game? I said 3-3. I said 3-3, mate. I said there's one game in the Championship that's always crazy, and it was a 3-3, but it wasn't the game I said it was going to be. But yeah, they were very vulnerable defensively, I felt. I don't know if you watched it, David, but that 4th goal they conceded.
I watched a bit of it, but I just think with Plymouth as well, they've just, they haven't signed anyone really. They've just got a couple of free transfers in.
The thing
So
is, right, I was saying it, right, I look at their squad and they actually do have decent players. Like,
yeah,
obviously, Whittaker, I know we were rumoured with him a couple of seasons ago. I think Ryan Hardy's a decent striker. I don't know why he didn't start, if I'm going to
yeah,
be honest today. That didn't make sense. Obviously, they've got a few former players we had as well. Galloway,
yeah,
you know, and they've got some. Their keeper's all right. Not the one that was into that. I don't think he's the main one, if
yeah,
I'm correct. But I know they've got that younger one, haven't they? That's usually quite good. And again, I know we were rumoured with him before we got Kaminsky, so they got good players. But I
yeah,
just don't know, man. I mean, defensively, I just think they're very vulnerable, to be honest. Like, it's crazy. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, credit to them. Again, they've got good players. You know, I've always rated Barry Bannon. I think he's a good player. You know, and obviously Jamal Lowe. You know, he's had quite an interesting career, really. The way he's jumped up is been quite phenomenal from clubs to clubs. But yeah, disappointing, man. 4-0 opening day. It don't look great. You know, for a new manager, it don't look great. Like, you can accept losing, but losing like that is just crazy. You know, for your opening game, you know, you're trying to learn things, but that weren't a good look at all. Like, let's be honest. And that means Sheffield Wednesday are top on goal difference as it stands.
yeah.
But yeah, big up to Lewis. He says evening. Harry says classic Rooney ball, love it, and Norwich losing as well. Oh, man, your agenda against Norwich. What a weekend! Let's round it off with a Luton win. I mean, hopefully, mate. Hopefully, it's going to be very difficult, but
Gosh.
yeah, we might as well move on to that game now, I guess. The first thing I'm going to go into when I talk about it is the injury news. And to be fair, it's a lot more positive than I thought. So, you know, Mengi had the precaution, which again, a lot of us thought it was going to be anyway. You know, he's going to be back. You know what the guy's like. He's a warrior. For
Yeah,
me, probably going to be our main centre back this season, like the one that we look at and think, yeah, he's that guy. You know, the way he come in last season and stepped up was incredible, really. You know, considering Rob Edwards said he weren't actually meant to come in and start as much as he did, but obviously because the injuries, the unfortunate situation with Lockyer and that, he had to. But yeah, positive news. So Bell's in full training. So that's positive. That's good to hear. I mean, obviously, when he's back, there's, you know, a few different positions you can play in. You can play left centre back, you can play left wing back. I mean, what I want to see more is obviously you're not going to drop Doughty.
yeah.
However, I don't want to see Doughty play as much as he did last year, because you see towards the end of the season he
Oh,
was affected by
yeah.
it.
Very,
And we know Bell can play there. So even if, you know, you play some cup games and he's there, I don't mind that personally. You know, and again, you can put, when Bell is back, you can not put as much pressure on Johnson as well. You can, you know, put him on the bench more, bring him on, stuff like that as well.
yeah,
Um, you know, stuff like that. So that'll be good. Anderson and Burke are 10 days to 2 weeks behind Amari Bell. So not as bad as maybe we thought.
well,
I'm
yeah,
surprised. If I'm being honest, I'm surprised. I know Burke's, you know, made of glass, if we're being honest, but I'm surprised not back a little bit earlier than Anderson, if I'm going to be
yeah,
honest. Mengi obviously fit, like I said. Brown is behind the defenders, but he's on the grass. So again, I've got a feeling, you know, he's going to do really well this year. I think
hope,
people are sleeping on him a little bit to be that option to come on. Hopefully with Taylor, you
yeah.
know, definitely, and obviously Nelson, you know, as well. But again, like I say, he's probably going to be a little bit deeper in you know, the roles and that. But yeah, that'd be good to see him back. And then Nakamba is not far off. Needs a couple of weeks training first. So again, it'll be good to have him back as soon as possible. Really, you know, especially with the lack of midfielders. You know, if we're going to be honest at the moment,
I
you know.
think a very key part this season, Nakamba.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. He did last time, didn't he, in the
Yeah,
championship? You know, very influential, and yeah, man, I can't wait to see him back. A lot of these players are going to feel like new signings because of how long they've been out. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be like, wow, all right. And then there'll be one game you'll see him on the bench, be like, oh yeah, that's sick. You know, he's back on the bench. Come on, but yeah, man. So that's the team news. I mean, overall, it's more positive than it could be. You know, if
yeah,
we're going to be honest. But yeah, hopefully, touch wood, the injuries are not as bad as last year, man, because that, you know, that affected us in the end. You know, we know that. So
yeah,
hopefully it's not that bad. But yeah, going into it, I mean, Burnley, I mean, they've done obviously a new manager. It's an interesting one with them because I feel it's difficult not to put them in the top two of where they're going to finish this year because, you know, Scott Parker's got that experience, hasn't he, of
yeah,
you know, bringing teams up in the championship. And again, they've kept a lot of their players. It's like Kaminsky said the other day. He said, you know, we still class them as a Premier League team because most of their players are Premier League. So I also think on that basis, well, we should sort of be the same because we've kept the core of the squad predominantly, bar the ones that we knew were obviously going to go, i.e. Barkley and Lukonga. But yeah, man, it's going to be a tough test. I don't really want to remember the last time we went to Kenilworth Road, but we do remember that. Obviously, when they played them, obviously 1-0 down. Chong and Elijah come on, made a really good impact. And then, obviously was conceded like 30 seconds later or whatever it was. I remember watching it with my dad celebrating, going, come on, we can actually go on and win this now.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, there's a replay, they put the ball in the top corner. I'm like, oh, that's just typical. That reminded me of when we played Grimsby in the FA Cup, if you remember that one. But yeah, disappointing that game. But the home game, the home game for them, obviously we drew. I mean, Elijah, Trafford, hold that. Do you know what I mean? Like he couldn't hold on to the ball, could he? He had to jump all over the floor and everything. But it's one of them where I would say, even though it is first game of the season, right? I would say if you look back at it at the end of the season, it could be a game you look back at, even though it was only first game of the season, because at the end of the day, we're both teams that are expected to at least be in the top six, at least, if we're going to be honest. And both teams that have gone down from the Premier League. So our aim is to both be, back up there. But yeah, so I mean, it's going to be a very interesting game. Yes, probably, especially on paper, you would say the best game of the weekend. Especially when you look at, like I say, both teams coming down from the Premier League and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting, man. I mean, without giving away your score prediction, we'll get into that in a bit. How are you feeling, David, going into it? Obviously, you'll be there.
I don't know really. I don't know who's going to start. I mean, it's still a bit questionable in the midfield and defence. Like, I don't know who will start. Like, Burnley haven't lost a lot of their players, unlike us. We lost, key players. We knew they were going to go, but maybe we should have brought some new players in a lot more earlier. But I don't know. I'm a bit nervous. It's the first game of the season, under the lights. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully, one thing I will say is hopefully the home form is much better than last year. We did think maybe it's going to be, especially me and my dad anyway, thought it'd be like Nottingham Forest for them where, when they stayed up, not last season, the season before, due to that home form. Hopefully, you look at things, Kaminsky won't have to do as much as last year, in a sense of saving shots. I think in the end, he was the most saves in the Premier League, wasn't he? He got that, I think. And that was the part of the award he got the other day, I believe, or it might have been a completely different reason. But yeah, I see he got an award the other day. He was talking on that, talking on the game. And yeah, obviously we know the not the Blackburn fans, Burnley fans don't like him because of Blackburn when he was there. So, obviously he gave them a bit of rubbish in the away game, which was, quite funny to see. But hopefully I don't age well tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we'll do the lineup now. And because it's been such a while, guys, since I've done this, I remember on the website thing I use, I have to predominantly do it before, otherwise the players don't move. But we'll do it together. We'll do it together today. Right. We'll switch it up a little bit when it comes to that. So, yeah, let me just accept all these cookies and all that. But yeah, so right, formation. I'm going to say we stick with the the wing backs obviously and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, hold up, let me just change the formation because that's not what I want to go with. 1 second. So it's essentially like we'll go with that, and then I'll just move the players. Right. So obviously Kaminsky in goal. That goes without saying. Let's be honest. And I did hear earlier, by the way, the reason why nothing's happened with Tim Krul is because apparently he was injured. That's what I heard. So we haven't really been able to sell him, apparently, which has been quite interesting. But also get your lineups in, guys. Let me know what you guys think of this. So Kaminsky in goal. I'll start off with the wing backs. Doughty, again, that goes without saying. A lot of these are, obviously nailed on.
Yeah.
Even if, we do have injuries, most of these guys are nailed on because, how how good how good they are for us. Do you know what I reckon on the right wing back? Now, some people might go Real Waters. I just think, like I've said, the last couple of pre-season watch-alongs I've done, because he's still adapting to, men's football as a whole, really, not just championship football. I think he might not start. However, I wouldn't be disappointed if he started at all, because I think he's shown really good glimpses, especially, for his age and like I say, everything he has to still learn. So I'm probably going to go Chio. Now, again, I know not too many people want to see him there. They want to play him higher up, of course. But I just think for now, we will stick with him there. I mean, do you reckon that's David?
I was going to say Chio as well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I say, I just feel because he's more experienced at doing that at the moment, we'll stick with that really. When it comes to that. Back three, I'm going to say, now it's interesting again, because as much as we got injuries, I reckon it'll probably Johnson on the left. I can't see anyone else really going there on that left. If I'm going to be honest, he should be here. He should be on here. What's going on? Oh, let me get it. Because I don't remember actually using him last year. Hold up. Let me put his old name, see if it comes up. Oh, actually, I remember when we played. Oh, no, never mind. I was about to say, when we played Arsenal and I went on an Arsenal channel, he weren't actually on here, but he is now, so that's good. So, yeah, Joe Johnson, again, I think it goes without saying just because of the injuries. Obviously, Mengi in the back.
Yep.
Mengi in the middle of that. And then, do you know what? I would like to see, because he is the other centre-back fit as well, I would like to see Holmes. I mean, some people have been a bit, saying he hasn't been great. I think he's been all right, especially that first game in Slovenia. I thought he was right. I think he's really good at jumping up, winning headers. And because he is the only other centre-back we've actually got fit, I feel you have to go with him. I mean, the only other person you can really put there for me is Real Waters, because obviously he can play centre back as well. But would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
With Tom Holmes, I agree. I think he could be quite massive this season, to be honest. Oh, he's not even on here for some reason. Oh, that's just great, isn't it? Let me see if Real Waters is on it. Yeah, Real Waters is on it. Still says Arsenal, though. I need to change that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't even write Holmes. So, right, guys, just act like that's Holmes. Right, we'll just do that. The midfield, again, I think the midfield speaks for itself. I think you have to go with Baptiste.
Yeah.
That assist against Celta Vigo, man. The way he looked up before he even crossed it, before the move even happened was crazy. Again, he is obviously Barkley's better, but he is the Barkley replacement. In the sense of the box-to-box midfielder and that. So could be a big season for him. The only thing I am worried about with him is his injury record. So hopefully not as bad.
Injury crisis at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's my only worry. But as a player, he's been really good for me so far. Especially the first game he was sort of adapting. The first pre-season game he played, but then 2 after that, I thought he was really good. And then I'm going to go again. I feel you got to go with Clark.
Yeah.
Clark, we know he gives a bit more dimension. Especially when you compare it to someone like Ruddock. Clark can do a bit both. Better, I would say. And obviously, again, like I said earlier, the finishing as well, the finishing attributes he can bring to the team as well. So, yeah, that's the midfield. Obviously, they've done the wing backs as well. Now, the 3 up front, again, I think it speaks for itself, especially where we've put Chio. If Chio was not, not been spoken about yet, I would probably maybe put him up there for the debate. But I'm going to go Chong. You've got to go with him, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him this season. I think he's going to be absolutely immense, to be quite honest with you. And then the way I like to see it is I like to see Elijah up front, the highest one up there, and then Morris on that left side. And the reason I say that is because what you see Morris do a lot is try and flick it forward.
Yeah.
Right? And we know Elijah's obviously faster, and he's got that pace to get in behind. So for me, I would go with that. I mean, the only thing I would maybe debate on changing is the order of descent do you go with, do you put Chong on the left side and Morris on the right? I mean, I'm not too fussed. As long
Yeah,
as it is Elijah up front, I just feel that's better for me personally. So, yeah, guys, like I say, count that as Holmes, that plus. But like I say, he's not on here for some reason. Hopefully, as the season goes on, he should be on there. But yeah, I mean, let me double check again because sometimes it does like to do some weird stuff. No, he's not on it for some reason. So yeah, like I say, just take that as its Holmes there. But yeah, I mean, let me know. Let me know. What do you guys think? Would you go with that lineup as well? I mean, Harry's put his lineup in the chat, so I'll go through that. Jackie's put in a score prediction. So again, getting the score predictions, I'll go through them at the end. Obviously, we'll get into ours as well, of course. Kaminsky, Chio, Mengi, Holmes, Johnson, Doughty, Clark, Baptiste. Yeah, that's the same. That's the same lineup.
same.
So there you go. Great minds think alike, as they say. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there's a few things you can change, but not too many for me. One or two little things like the centre backs or the wing back, maybe. Other than that, you stick with everything else, I believe. When it comes to that. So yeah, I mean, interesting game for sure. I mean, that's probably, I'd say, the best lineup we can go with right now. If I'm going to be honest, especially with them two centre backs, the only ones available. But yeah, David, how you feeling? Like I say, you'll be at this one. We'll be doing the fan camps after, guys. So if you are there, do obviously come over. It will be where we were for the Celta Vigo game. But yeah, how you feeling going into this game, mate? Score prediction wise.
I hope I've said 2-1 Luton. I feel Burnley will score earlier on and we'll bring it back. I mean, I just think I don't know how we're going to struggle like with the injuries, and I just feel it will take a part of us. But hopefully, I said 2-1 Luton, so hopefully we win.
Yeah, man. No, that'd be good. That'd be a really good start. Like I say, for me, it could be a game you look back on as the season goes on. And, it could be massive. I know it's only the first game, but just with the expectations of both teams to be, in the top six at least, I just think there's high expectations, as there should be. You go down from the Premier League, your aim should be to go back up. It'd be crazy if it's not. So, yeah, I mean, I look at this and I just worry a little bit because I know we don't have great records against Burnley, especially at home. I mean, I don't mind the draw away like we've got in recent years, 1-1. We like a lot of 1-1s there, especially in recent games anyway. But just at home, we just don't have great memories. Now, hopefully we change that third time lucky, but just the last two games I remember, we lost 1-0. And again, I know it's a bit controversial, to be fair, the goal actually, I remember that. And obviously 2-1 last year. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say 2-1 to Burnley again, unfortunately. I just think, like I say, they're like, I know we're trying to do business. I'm not saying we're not.
Yeah.
Like Rob Edwards openly said the other day, we are trying, but teams are just trying to, get the players on way more than they should be, really. But I worry a little bit about that midfield for me. When you look at football, that is the core, isn't it? The midfield, because that's the middle of the pitch. That's where everything happens. From start to finish, really, on either side. So I do worry a little bit, especially when I look at their midfield. It's still got a lot of Premier League quality there. So I just think they might edge it, unfortunately. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Burnley in this one, unfortunately. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, definitely. And again, another thing is we're slow starters, so maybe be a bit aware of that. Obviously, we've got, again, another difficult game next week for me. Portsmouth away, 12:30. They're going to be well up for it. Drawing away at Leeds, they're going to be well up for it. So it's going to be interesting, man. I mean, it is a bit nervy. I'm not going to lie. And we know players like Elijah as well start a bit slow as well. So I am expecting that a little bit. I am expecting, if anyone scores, I'll say my goal scorer now. I'll say it's Morris. And hopefully it is, because I started fantasy EFL and these players have done absolutely trash for me. So hopefully, makes that a bit better. I've still got two players to play though. They're both Luton players. So yeah, we'll see. But your goal scorers, 2 goal scorers for us.
I said Morrison, Clark.
Yeah, I could see a Clark one maybe. Outside the box, I could maybe see it.
Yeah.
And it would be quite nice, especially if the praise I've given him for his finishing. So we shall see. Shout out to your dad in the chat, David. He says 2-1 to Luton as well. Nice. I like that. Both confident there. Nice. I think we will have a draw, a positive 1-1. Yeah, I mean, a draw wouldn't be too bad. It'd be better than it has been, against them.
Draw. I'd rather a winner or a draw.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, guys. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I just worry a little bit about that midfield. That's all it is for me. I think everywhere else will. Right. Obviously, more centre backs being back would be great, but I'm not as worried there as midfield. I just think,
yeah, it's just a bit.
we love Ruddock. We love Ruddock. I said it the other day. We love Ruddock, but he's not. If you want to be a high-end Championship team, low-end Premier League team, trying to go back up there, I just don't think he's that guy anymore. Look at the Celta Vigo game; it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Especially on that goal. Because we were quite dominant. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised because Celta Vigo, they are a good side. Spanish teams, they're predominantly good with possession-based football. And I know that's how we want to play, so we're still early in that sense. So I was very surprised of how dominant we were for large part, probably, until we come on, if we're going to be honest, in the game. And I'll say I love the guy, but you just got to move on at times, really.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know what I saw what he was trying to do in the Celta Vigo match, like head it back. But I mean, you could see there was a player in front. I mean,
for me, it's just the way I know it's a friendly, but again, I worry because that's the last friendly before the season kicks off. Do you know what I mean? So that is predominantly as well, right? You're like, look at the Liverpool game today, right? I know they played twice, but the first game, the game they played earlier, that squad is probably bar Chimikas, it'll be Robertson instead. That's probably what they're going to play against Ipswich next week. You look at it, a lot of these teams, their last pre-season game, that is maybe bar one player, that's what their starting 11 will be. And I know he didn't start, but just players to come on, it does worry me a little bit. That we haven't, at least got someone else in midfield. Personally, there's still time. We know that, but again, I do worry because they're going to have to come straight in. Do you know what I mean? And we've got difficult games, man, to start off. I can't stress that enough. We've got a lot of, early games as well. Do you know what I mean? I know we've got Millwall away as well early. We've got some difficult games, man. I'm going to be honest. So yeah, like I say, we're slow starters, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong. Definitely. So yeah, there's that. Paul's gone with a 2-2, goals galore. Nice. Yeah, again, a draw would be decent. I mean, Harry's gone 2-0. Oh, that would be really good. Ruddock screamer. I mean, that would be typical. It's 1 out of 40 screamers. But yeah, man, that'd be sick, man. I mean, no, I love it. I love it if he scored. I love the guy. It's just going forward. You got to move on, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just feel this is probably his last year. I think the same with Woodrow. I do think he will stay, like I said earlier, because I just feel it's not a priority it's not a must for us, is it, to get rid of someone, like, especially attacking wise.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do that. Do you know what I mean? Really. Yeah, Lewis, I agree with you, bro. Obviously, we did the championship show. Make sure you check that out, by the way, people. We'll be back again on Thursday for that. So yeah, obviously, we'll predominantly talk about Hull and Luton games, but yeah, we'll touch on the other games as well, preview the next week of games. So yeah, man, check that out as well. Peaches says, I missed the start. In short, hope you smash Burnley. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that'll be a really good start. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult, man. It's gonna be difficult for both teams. No, for both teams, definitely. But yeah, man. Thank you, David, for coming on.
It's all right.
Anything else you want to say, mate, about anything before we wrap up?
Nothing really. Just hope that we win.
Yeah, literally, mate. And yeah, like I say, people, he is doing the fan camps tomorrow. So again, massive thank you for doing that, David. Like I say, doing it for all the games that he does attend that I can't attend. But again, I should hopefully be going to a lot more this season. Hopefully it's a lot easier as well. Because obviously we're in the championship, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, thank you for that. And I know a few people already coming over after the game. So yeah, nice one. Big up to yourselves, guys. And yeah, man, big up to everyone that's in the chat and all of that. Big up to everyone that's tuned in. Obviously, we'll be back again weekly. Like I say, my dad should be back next week. obviously, just like I say, he's ill. Nothing major, so don't worry, like I say. But yeah, it's just one of them that's going round. There's something going round, man, I swear. But yeah, that's what happens in the summer, really, I guess. But yeah, man, big up to everyone. I'll be back again with a watch along tomorrow. So yeah, do tune into that. And yeah, hopefully we get a good result. You know, obviously I'm not too confident, but we'll see. And then yeah, man, just shorts out, lead it up to the game. And then like I say, obviously the fan cams will be out after, you know, soon after the watch along and stuff as well, man. So big up to yourselves, guys. Big up to yourself, David. Big up to everyone. And smash a like, all of that. Subscribe, all of that. Big up yourselves, guys. Till tomorrow. Take care and peace.